welcome to this presentation on SOLIDWORKS Inspection. My name is Charn Jivaphaiboonskdi. I'm an applications engineer based out of our Woodland Hills office. And today I want to go over how to set up project and report templates in SOLIDWORKS Inspection, because these can be very beneficial to help us as we're maintaining our inspection documents that we're working on. So, just as an overview for what SOLIDWORKS Inspection is and what your current workflow will be in your current company that you're working for, is you're usually creating inspection reports so that you can guarantee that the products that you're sending out the door to your customers meet a certain standard that's either dictated by your company or by some standards. And you're doing this a lot for parts that are either outsourced, or if you have your own internal manufacturing, you want to inspect those as well, just to make sure that you have a good quality product that's being sent out. And the typical workflow is you have a drawing from engineering, and once they have this drawing, some other functioning group, most likely it's a quality engineer, is going to take this drawing and they're going to balloon it. And when they go through the whole ballooning process, they're going to then take that information from there and then put it on some type of form, whether it's an Excel document or Word document, something that someone can data log all of the measurements that they're going to be taking onto this part that they're measuring. Now, the current problem with that methodology is the fact that it's very manual process. You're going in, you're physically printing paper, you're going to balloon it by hand, and it becomes time consuming to do that, especially when you have drawings that have hundreds of dimensions, which isn't uncommon to see even in this day and age. And because of all of those data entries that you now have to transfer over onto the document that you're going to create to record this, you can have a lot of error prone. You need to double check, triple check, even quadruple check the information is transferring over correctly from the drawing onto the form that you're creating. And this in turn becomes a costly process when you're doing this. Well, this is where SOLIDWORKS Inspection comes into play. This is a tool that SOLIDWORKS has developed to help you balloon your drawings and generate the forms necessary for your inspection documents, as well as you can even perform the inspection with the tool itself. Now today, like I said before, we're going to be focusing on the inspection templates, and we're going to showcase the project templates, which will be useful for the ballooned portion of the drawings, and then the actual report templates for the documentation that will be filled in by your inspectors. Now, before we begin, we want to make sure that we can show hidden folders. So to show hidden folders, we'll need to go to our control panel and folder options. And when you're there, you'll notice that there's a section to show hidden files, folders, and drives. We're going to want to enable this. And by enabling this there, we'll then be able to actually see that we'll get access to the following folder locations to access all of our templates. And make sure that you notice that there's an add-in location as well as a standalone location. So let's first jump into the software. Now here we have a drawing and I want to start an inspection document, project, I mean. So I'll come up to the SOLIDWORKS Inspection tab, I'll click on the new project. And when you start a project, you're going to be asked to choose a template. Now SOLIDWORKS comes with various different templates built into the software. You can choose any one of those and then tailor them to your needs. I'm going to just choose this default one for the time being and click on the green check mark. Now this is where we start capturing the information. We've shown you previously that you can come in here and instead of manually typing into this field, you can choose the custom properties that will showcase here if you use custom properties built onto your parts or drawings, and you can automatically drive that information directly from there. Just quickly, easily going through and making sure that it populates the correct information. And then we can determine, our sampling size, AQL level, information like that populates right here on the bottom. And then we're going to click on this next button. Now, this next window that we're into, this is just defining what we're trying to capture every time we want to have this report generated. So for this one, I really only care about the inspection dimensions, which are all these dimensions with an oval around them. So I want to make sure that I capture that. My notes, I'll make sure that I capture them all as one. And then I'm going to include only GD&T, but I'm going to remove any whole callouts as well as world callouts and surface finish callouts because I don't really have that information called out in detail here like I normally would. And then when I click on this next button again, here I want to specify the tolerance. Now usually on your drawings, if you look somewhere down on the bottom right, you will see a tolerance block that you've specified here on your model for all of your drawings. So you can easily capture all that information right here in this section. Now I can click on the green check mark, and what it'll do is it'll do its normal process of generating the balloons next to each and every inspection dimension, and note that we've told it to capture here within those project settings. Now, before I try to save anything out, I do want to make some last minute changes. If I zoom in to a note right here, what you'll notice is when I grab this dimension, notice that the balloon doesn't travel with the dimension. So I want to make sure that I have that captured so that it actually travels. And to do that, we need to come up here to the command manager for the SOLIDWORKS inspection and click on Add Edit Balloons. And we can actually turn on Attach Balloon to Characteristic, so that when we do this, it will actually showcase that. We can also change the shape. If we don't want to work with circles, we can change them to triangles, hexagons. I like working with hexagons, so I'll change it to a hexagon right here. But once we click on the green check mark, and now you can see that as I drag it up, the balloon is dragging with it. So that's the intent for that. Now that I have all these settings set up on there, what I want to do is I want to save this out as a template so that someone other than myself can have access to this moving forward. So to do that, we come up here to the command manager again, and we're going to choose Create New Template. When we click on that, this is just going to tell us it's going to be based on the current project. We'll click Yes, and we'll save it into the same folder location so it automatically populates, but I'll save it as this new inspection webinar template with today's date. Click Yes. And now when I come into a new drawing and create a new project, I can see that from this list, because I saved it in the same location, I now have access to that new template that I've created. So with that chosen, I'll click on the green check mark, and we can see all of the information is automatically being populated here. We have the part name, the part number, and the revision. And then if I click on the next page, we can see that it's only choosing the inspection option with the GD&T. And then it even maintains my tolerance that I specified with that template that I created. And when I click on the green check mark, what you'll notice, and we'll zoom in once it's completed, is that all of the balloons now are that hexagon shape as well that I've created. Now this is all within respects to the add-in. So you will have to do this in the standalone portion as well. So let's take a look at the standalone. When you're trying to generate these project properties for the standalone, you can open up any type of PDF document and then from there create the settings. So it doesn't have to be something specific to the project that you're working on. So I'm just going to create a new project. This is another list of all of the standard templates that SOLIDWORKS provides for the standalone portion. I will choose the AS9102 metric. And now I'm just going to specify the drawing I want to open. So I'll come up here to my folder. We'll open up this drawing, the same one that we were working on before. And to access the information that we want to control here for our project properties in the standalone, we have to come to the Home tab and we'll click on this Options button. And when we click on this Options button, we will see that we have a Project Options tab. We will click on that. And here is where we can start specifying the information that will be specific to this project template that we're going to be using moving forward. So just like before, we can come in and specify our tolerance. So I'll make sure I choose the same values that I had before. And if I want to add in any type of row, I can just click on a new precision level and just type in the new values. There's this imaging and OCR portion right here. If you click on this, what this does is this brings over the characteristics on how it's recognizing the information on the PDF that you're providing. So if you have any legacy data or customers who use other forms of software like AutoCAD, 2D, or even CATIA for their drawings that they're providing you, you can use those PDFs that were generated from those softwares, and you can change the um, text recognition to match those softwares so that you can better match up the fonts that they're using, and you can even change up the languages that they're working with as well right here. Now for the balloons, we'll click on the ballooning portion, and here we can change the size of the balloon. So I want to increase the font size, so we'll make it 8. We'll make the fit a little bit larger, and we can even change the color. Let's go in and make this color black. And then I want to change the actual style of the balloon here as well. So I'm going to change the border to be gray. I'll then change the fill color to be a green to match our GoEngineer logos. And like I said before in the add-in, I like working with hexagons, so I'll change it to a hexagon. And I'll even change the characteristic position to be to the upper left-hand portion. And now I have all these settings defined. So when I click OK to this, I'll even test out by capturing some information. So let's go to the drawing tab. Let's click on dimension, and I'm going to capture this dimension right here. And what you'll notice is that it captured the dimension, it created the balloon shape and the hexagon and the color scheme that I had chosen. And over here on the verification for the image capturing, we can see that because this is out to a 100,000ths place, it recognized the tolerance for what we set as a tolerance block off of there and gave us all that information. So it looks good here on this drawing. Let's test it out on a new drawing. Once you've applied all those settings, we want to save it out. Now, in order to save it out, the easiest way to do it is to come up to this inspection icon up here to the upper left. When you click on that, there's a Save As option, and there's 2 save options. If you save it as this inspection project, it's going to be tailored specifically to this current PDF. But if you want to use it as a template for someone to choose when they're generating this, you need to save it as a project template. So we'll do that. And just like before, we'll save it into the same location, and I'll give it today's date. I've already saved this before, but let's just override that so it has the information that we've specified off of here. And now when we create a new document, I'll close this out. Let's choose a new project. Because we saved it in that same stock location, it shows up here on our list, so we can choose that right away. And now we can go in and choose a new drawing just like we had up before. And when I start capturing the dimensional values, we'll see that it captures the information. And let's actually grab a dimension that doesn't have a tolerance, which is this one right here. And we can see that when we have this, since it's out to the 100,000ths place, we can see that it captures all that information that we had before. So those are ways of setting up the project templates. Let's take a look now at the actual report templates. So let me just switch over to opening up a project that I have started. Now I want to generate the actual reports here from this project. And we can see that it did capture the hexagons that I created before. So let's now generate the inspection report that we need to record this data. So we'll come up here to this Publish tab, and we'll click on Excel, and we'll choose our template. So I'll make sure I'll just choose a stock template, which is the AS9102 for the one that I'm looking for. I'll click on Export, and then now I have the inspection report. But what you'll notice is I have a lot of dimensions that showcase off of here. In fact, I have 43 dimensions that take across 54 minus 8, so 48 rows or 46 rows. So I want to make sure that I could print this out as is, but this will be quite small on the font size. So I might want to edit the template so that I can tailor it to better accommodate multiple pages for all of these data logs that show up here from the data that shows up. So to do that, um, what we'll need to do is I'll do it here in the standalone portion, and the same information applies for the add-in. But what you'll want to do is you'll come up to this inspection icon once more, and you'll come down to template editor. Now, when you click on template editor, it will bring up Excel in its own window. It'll showcase first the standard template location. I'll just choose this template right here. And what I can do is I can come in here and I can start specifying information to put in to then change it. Now, if I wanted to add in any type of specific information, there is this template editor token window that will populate here. So I can just choose through the different submenus for the type of information that I want. I'm going to take a measurement and value. And once I'm satisfied with what I want to place in, I just click somewhere in the Excel row and column and click on insert, and it will automatically place in this streamline of text. So I don't have to try to worry about remembering all this information because this is quite a long string of text just to recognize. SOLIDWORKS has all of this in place. You just have to know the information based upon the token that you're trying to place in. What I would recommend doing is going through the existing templates so that you can see the information that's placed there, and then you can further tailor it to your own. I can also come in here and specify how much data I actually want to show up on each one of these sheets. There's a whole knowledge base solution by SOLIDWORKS that provides this. If we take a look at that, it'll be solution-068517. You can access this through the customer portal. And here, what they're specifying is that we need to add in a unique identifier onto the streamline of text so that we can specify how much information is showing up. And here they showcase that it's bracket at UID less than asterisk 11, close asterisk bracket. I can make sure that when I click onto these fields that have this information, I need to add it to this location right here and just press Control V. And I can further go through and add that on to where if I look at a previous template that I've created, we can now see that when I look at this sheet, this is where I've added that information into each piece of information that's going to be placed there. So these are just modifying the stock templates. I've then copied this over to several pages, and then I've specified a data log between 10 and 21 for this sheet, and so on and so forth for each of these following sheets that I have. And once you're done customizing this, you can click on Finished, and you'll need to save it as a new template so that you can access it moving forward. Make sure that you do save it as a template. If you have a macro built in, you can choose macro enabled template, and we can save it into the same folder. I've already done that. So we'll just go and click cancel here. And now when I go ahead and publish this to an Excel document, I'll make sure that I choose the new template that I've created. And if I don't see it here on this list, I can easily come in and add it. I just have to click on the plus sign, and I'll go in and specify the location for that template and choose the template. And now it will show up on this list, and I'll make sure it exports to all sheets, and I'll click on export. And when we open up this Excel document, we can see that only so much information is being displayed on each one of these sheets. And this is where that streamline of text is beneficial for us. We can see that if we click on through each one of these sheets, we see only the information that I've specified on each one of those sheets. Now, for those of you who do not conform to AS9102, if you have your own existing templates that you want to use, you're more than welcome to set those up. They do have to be Excel based, but once you have the format done for the layout, you'll go back to the template editor again, and from here you'll just start specifying all of the necessary information that you'll need to go in. So we'll just choose the template that we want. I have a macro enabled one, and you can see that I've created this for GoEngineer, and I've even incorporated some statistical analysis for this to help calculate this information automatically. Once I'm done, I just have to click on Finish, and I can use this as well. So that's it for this webinar. If you have any further questions, feel free to email me. My email is charnj@goengineer.com, and I'll be happy to answer any questions you might have.